Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and Blizzard has updated the new and returning player decks in Hearthstone for the upcoming Heroes of StarCraft mini set that will have cards from the Great Dark Beyond, the most recent expansion. There's 6 of them. You will be able to choose one as long as you are a new and returning player, which means either you're starting a brand new account or you haven't logged into Hearthstone for 90 days. You'll basically be able to try out these 6 decks for like 2 weeks, or just pick one right away so you can edit it and make it how you want. And we're gonna go over each deck, what I think is maybe the best value, what you might wanna stay away from. Overall, just give you an idea of what these decks can do. And if you enjoy the content on the channel, or you just want to stay up to date with Hearthstone news and things like that, we post daily to stay tuned for all that Hearthstone news and some gameplay here and there. So starting off, we have Starship Deathlight. Starship was a big mechanic in the newest expansion, the Great Dark Beyond. It has not been particularly powerful as of recording this video, and Deathlight not really a standout with it in the current meta. So this is kind of an off meta, not super competitive deck. You get a really good card in Reska, an awesome legendary, but I'm going to note a lot with this review of decks. This card will be rotating to Wild, leaving Standard in the next couple of months when the next expansion goes live. So your value might be a little bit more limited on what you get out of cards that are rotating. So Reska is really good. The Exeter is a great legendary, but it's free on the rewards track right now. You get basically not a ton of value in terms of like card value in this deck. You get Guiding Figure, which is an epic, which is quite nice. It triggers a random friendly minion's death rattle. It's a starship piece. So basically the idea is you play that alongside with your Soulbound Spire, which can summon a minion based on its attack. You just get large minions that can keep coming back, and then you launch your starship for 5 mana. All these pieces come together, you launch it, and you get a bunch of stats, but overall, this deck pretty slow. You're not getting a ton of value on your cards, like legendary-wise, not a lot. Epic-wise, basically non-existent. It's just one of the decks I would pass on almost for sure right now. Just not powerful, not a ton of value, and the best value is literally a card that will be leaving Standard shortly, so I would probably pass on that. Shaper Hunter is actually one of the best decks in Hearthstone right now. This is a super good deck that has come out from the Great Dark Beyond. Basically, discover a lot of cards. The standout in here, Exarch Niall. This is going to be like an auto include in Hunter until it rotates next year, not in 2 months, but next year. Such a good card. 3 mana, 3/4 that changes your hero power to 1 mana. Draw a card, or not even draw, discover a card from your deck. Even better than that. And when you have cards like Rengari Scout, you can get a ton of value. And you have in here Ziliax, which is already, this card has been nerfed 5 times. It's made up of a bunch of different modules you can put together. Incredibly good card after 5 nerfs. That's how you know that is a pretty strong legendary. Agrimar is also an awesome legendary card, but it will be rotating in a couple of months, so keep that in mind. You also get Grifta, so you get a lot of legendaries in this deck, and it is really another really good card, not leaving anytime soon. You get 1 Parallax Cannon, which is an epic, and the net deck actually runs 1, so the net deck should have ran 2 to get some more dust value, right? And you get Gorgon Zormu, which I believe is the free legendary. I don't think that's craftable, but it's a really good card anyways, and not leaving. So this is probably the best deck you can get from these 6. I'll just say that right out the gate. And the value really high on it too. And the deck is not the easiest thing in the world to play, and you can modify it. You can put Ceaseless Expanse is a legendary you're gonna want, although I think only one of these decks has it. But regardless, you can play that version alongside of it, and it's really, really good. This is a super strong deck. Absolutely recommended. And it doesn't play like a regular Hunter deck. It's not like super aggressive. It's got value and aggression. It's kind of unique. Elemental Mage was a really good deck for a while. It's still I still see people like top under Legend with it, and it's pretty good, but it's another one I'm likely going to recommend passing on. The biggest value you get here is Sarun, the legendary elemental that gives all elementals in your deck fire spell damage +1, and then when you like Surger out, that's really nice, right? And Surger is rotating. A lot of these cards are rotating, like Aquark, Hivist. A ton of these good elementals are leaving Standard soon. Molten Rune. You get some other good cards in here like Blazing Accretion, but they're all commons and rares. Like, you could basically craft this deck for relatively cheap. I would not take this as my free deck. You only get the one legendary that is only good at Elemental Mage, and I don't believe you even get an epic in this deck. So dust value, really low. Meta validity, it's okay, but it's not going to be great in a couple of months unless they make a bunch more elementals. So for me, this would be a hard pass unless it's just something you really, really want to play. Next, we have Libram Paladin, which launched with the Great Dark Beyond. It does run some older cards, but it's all based around Librams. Libram of Divinity, which is an epic, so you get some nice value on that. Recasting it, I feel like this deck is going to get better with rotation, because a lot of this stuff, like, it's really close to being a top tier deck right now, but there's just other stuff that's slightly better, but a lot of that stuff is rotating, including the Paladin Titan, which is not included in this deck, which is a great card, but again, it rotating a couple months, so you rather get like a Sun Sapper Lanessa, which is a great legendary that recasts basically your 2-cost spells or less. 2 cost spells or less cast twice, so that's really solid. And yeah, you get the Libram package, which has Libram of Clarity, Interstellar Star Slicer, so this can discount your Librams and get that all going. I like they don't even run the 4-drop that's supposed to discount your Librams. That's how big a miss that one's been, but overall, pretty good deck, decent value you're getting on it with some epics, a really good legendary as well. Not as highly recommended as the Hunter deck, but if this is a playstyle you're looking for, you miss the old Librams of the day, definitely a worthy choice. And you like Paladin, I don't think you'll be super disappointed with that deck. Next, we have Asteroid Shaman, which is another Great Dark Beyond archetype, which is really fueled by your asteroids. So Bull-Eyed Behemoth is an epic, so nice value on that. You shuffle in asteroids, which are these rocks that just deal damage throughout the game, and this card makes them deal more damage. You could shuffle more in with Moonstone Mauler. You can triangulate and get even more in there, and then you have Shutter Block. This is a great legendary that your next battle cry triggers 3 times. You get a little 1/1 mini of them, and then you can do it again. So you can just shuffle in like a ton of asteroids, or with Incendious, a bunch of eruptions, and just deal a lot of damage. People really loathe this deck. Thankfully for some of those people, Ethereal, this card will not be 4 mana, will not be 3 mana for much longer. It's going to 4, but pretty effective deck, a lot of good tools. Golganeth is also an incredible legendary, but again, rotating in a couple of months to Wild, so that kind of hurts, but it is an incredible card. And if you even want to play Wild, you'll like Golganeth in Wild. Like, he's that good. He sees play in that format, and there is Blood Mage in here, but he's in the core set, so not really much value on that legendary. But again, I could recommend this one if you like just, shuffling stuff into your deck and dealing a bunch of damage. As much as people loathe facing it, people really like playing it too. So certainly a worthy pick. I could definitely recommend it. Good value, and definitely a meta player. You could definitely climb with that one. And lastly, we have one that I'm a little bit mixed on, is Odin Warrior, which is a pretty good deck right now. It's not top tier. You get some insane value with this deck though. You get Ceaseless, which is arguably the best neutral legendary in the game. It is so good. It's 100 mana, but every card, basically, if you look at the normal version of it, it costs 1 less for each time a card was drawn, played, or destroyed. Battle Cry, destroy all minions. It can be 0 mana, clear the board, get a 15/15. It is so strong. If you don't get it from one of your free decks, it is a must craft card unless you open it up in a pack. Again, we talked about Ziliax. It's great. Odin is your win condition, where basically it turns your armor you gain into damage. However, Odin is rotating in a couple of months. So this deck, which is built around this, is only good for a little bit of time. And it's not the best deck in the world. But the value with this deck is crazy, because you also get Sleep Under the Stars, which is an amazing epic playable in Druid and Warrior. And it's good and Wild too. Like, that's how good that card is. You get Ham the Hungry. He's basically can eat a minion in your opponent's deck. But the best part is the Druid tourist part. He lets you play Druid cards like Asleep Under the Stars. So he's super good. You definitely want to play him if you're playing Warrior. You get Hostile Invader. You get New Heights, which is another epic playable in Druid and Warrior. And yeah, it's not the most competitive deck in the world, but it's good. It's pretty fun to play, and you get a ton of value for it. The only downside, Odin's rotating soon. So my biggest recommendations looking at these decks, I would say the Hunter deck, number 1, just because it's like the best deck out of these. and you get good value. I would probably say Odin Warrior just because the value is so good, and you can play Ceaseless in any class, and you get Druid and Warrior cards, which is really nice. And then it'd be like Libram and Asteroid Shaman would be like, if that's just really your style of play, maybe go for that. And I would just hard pass on Elemental Mage and Starship Death Knight. So there you go. Those are the decks to pick from. Hopefully you pick one that you like and have some good luck with. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.